along. For it's high, high heat in the field artillery. Call off your numbers, but it's strong. 2, 3, 4, and where we go, you will always know that those caissons are rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day, 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 day. Through our last night offshore, anchors away. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall a purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Ten Hut! You're listening to MilitaryChatRadio.com.
And welcome to the Al Young Show today. Hey, how's everybody doing? Today, I'm going to do a solo show. My co-host is out, and she's going to have some surgery done. So I'm doing it by myself today. And for those of you who feel adventurous and you'd like to call in a little later on or during the show, please call 727-493-2055. And this is the Al Young Show, and today, of course, is Tuesday. And what a week we've had, actually, since the last time we were on the air. Of course, the same thing has been going on. Tensions have been running high, and everybody's been going crazy. When you look at it, hey, that's just how we live. But guess what? The military's still going strong. Nothing's changed. And those people in uniform who are doing active duty right now are still performing the way they always have and always will. And I don't think anything's going to change there. So the rest of the world, however, oh, gee, look at all the things that's going on. I mean, we've got some issues that, like I said, were happening last week and that me and my co-hosts were talking about. Okay. And, I realize that nothing is going to really change when you get people and you're dealing with, we mentioned it last week, and I'm going to mention it again, religion. And sometimes religion gets to be very, very picky, especially with all the different religions that go on. But I think, when we're dealing with people who take things a little bit further than we Americans are used to doing, how we're dealing with things, you have to look at the complexity, and then you look at how the United States deals with things, or how some people feel we should, how some people feel we shouldn't. There are those who feel that, when anybody steps on our foot, they deserve an immediate response. We should go out there and let them know exactly who we are, and, hey, we're not going to accept it. But is that always the right way to go? And you have to ask yourself, listen, if someone does something to you, what kind of response do you give them? Regardless of how bad it might be sometime, is it a swift and immediate response, or do you think about what you're going to do, then respond? There's a lot of criticism going around that the United States is apologizing to people for when they do things to us that they shouldn't do. Again, that's on individuals to kind of look at. How do you feel about that? How do you out there feel about the response that we should give? How do you think that it should have been handled? How do you feel that things are going in the way that our military or the way that our government is handling things? How do you feel about it? A lot of you are still in the military and you're dealing with it every day. How does that affect you? You're the guys that should be letting me know how you feel about that a lot of times, because you have to deal with it. And a lot of people are just coming back. So how are things going? How do you look at the situation here and then you look at it abroad? Because, when politicians make decisions, they're not making it for themselves so much. They're making it for you. And a lot of times you guys are involved. The minute something happens, you got to wonder about where you're going to end up. And then all of America has to wonder, how is this going to affect us? I don't know if it's a thing that you could say one party is this way or another party's that way, and is it going to be better for us? How do we handle things? Do we jump? Do we think with calm heads? Or do we just let people know, hey, listen, we've got the biggest stick. You better watch out. How do we operate? How do we take that? You have to kind of look at life as it's going around these days. And when it's going around, a lot of times, things happen, and they happen so fast till you barely have enough time to think about it. And then when people do make a move, or their reaction is somewhat less pleasing to some of us than it is to others, we get responses. We have people wanting to do things that really don't make sense as far as I'm concerned. But then again, to that person or to that particular group, it makes a lot of sense. But how do we all feel about that? Because a lot of times the major thing is to voice your opinion, let people know how you feel. Now, of course, in the military, we can't always do that, because we are bound by certain rules and regulations, and they have to be followed. And I mean followed to the T. That's a part of being in the military, that you do follow regulations. You follow your orders. You follow those things which guide you to becoming the individuals that you are. So, you never want to circumvent that. And a lot of times these days, it's being done, and then when it's being done, I'm looking at some of the things that are happening, and I'm saying, should this person have kind of gotten away so easily? Should they just gotten that slap on the wrist, or what should have happened to them? What would have happened to them in days of old, because now we got kind of like a different kind of structure when we deal with the military. You just don't go in and say, all right, okay, you just did something, we're going to give you 100 years, and that's it. Everything has changed in life, and I think the military, like everything else, has evolved to where it is today. Different kinds of people, different kind of ideas, but basically, there hasn't been that much change, just subtle changes, and in the way that maybe you may take someone and say, okay, you've broken a military law, and now we're going to take you and you're going to deal with just the military. I don't think that happens like that in most cases when it's something of national security or it's got anything to do with the overall picture of what's going on. In small individual unit size cases, you get UMCJ. But when it becomes something that's really major, I think it changes. And I think those involved these days who do things that, just shock you, you look at it and say, well, gosh, why isn't this happening or why isn't that happening? It's because we've evolved as people, and a lot of things that we thought about at one time we don't look at in the same light. So the military has come a long way in some of the things that it does. But think about it. A city without a police department, how is it run? How does crime start to escalate? Do you say, okay, we'll take away all the policemen and we'll just tell everybody to be on their best behavior, and for all those guys out there or all those people who would want to do harm to other people, you just be good? And think about that. Now, if we have all the crime and everything else that we have with a police department, how would it be? Same thing if you took away the military, if we stopped doing the things that we do, and you've got to have laws, you've got to have people governing other people, and there's no way of getting away from it. I think when you look at it, the United States is probably the world police, and we're going to always be the world police. Now, there are people who say, well, we shouldn't be. Well, yeah, there shouldn't be, but it is. And the reason that we do that should be pretty plain to a lot of people, that if we didn't do it, no one else would do it, and there'd be even more chaos in the world than there is today. The United States government is a unique entity in itself, in this simple reason that, we look at all the things that go on, and we look at our people that we elect, and those people help us to maintain our way of life, the things that were granted long time ago and now that are still in place. If we didn't have it, and if we didn't do the things that we did, where would we be? Would we be like some of the other countries where it's total chaos? Or would we be enjoying just what we enjoy today, everything? And I'm sure that's why everybody that comes to the United States. And we live better than most people even think about living. But that's because we wanted it that way. There is no one telling us that you have to do things a particular way, or either that's it for you, or you won't survive, or there's a class system, and in that class system you can never come out of that class system. You'll always be the person that you are from birth to death. You can never change. Okay? We may have a class system, but, that class system just means, hey, listen, maybe I make less than $100,000 a year. Maybe I make less than $50,000 a year. But that doesn't mean I can't one day jump up and be the President of the United States. That doesn't mean that I can't one day become a millionaire or a billionaire or own the largest company that, is even imaginable. People in the United States are able to do anything that they want to do. Other people are not that fortunate. And I think that's the problem. People see us and all they do is see all the things that we have, and they get very upset about that. Why? You can have the same thing if you like. Now, maybe where you come from, they don't allow it. But here it's allowed. Is it a thing that people get so angry with you, so upset with you because of what you do and what you have? But we didn't just go taking it from everybody. We earned it. We made this country what it is. It wasn't given to us on a silver platter and said, well, it's already made. All you have to do is have it. But we made it to where anybody who comes here has the same opportunity as any other American that was born and raised here. So it's a conglomerate of different races and peoples and everything else, but they all have that one opportunity, and that's to take themselves and be whatever they like to be. And it's been our military that's been at the forefront to make all these things happen. And unfortunately, we don't want to sound like it's a military state or anything, but everybody has to look at how well we have life here in the United States. You know, I'm trying to bite my tongue by not sounding like overly enthusiastic about things, but we really have it good here, and we want to keep it that way. And I think it's going to always be that way because we have our government. We have our military. We have people who think about things, who don't always just rush into everything. And you know, one day when you get into something and you don't even think about what you're doing, you just make a reaction, that's not always the best policy. Now, I know politicians always say, well, I would have done it this way, I would have done it that way, and I think and that's politics. I think they'll always say that. The one politician will say that the other politician is not the world's greatest, and that I do it better if I was this person, or I do it better if I was that person, or if I controlled it. But you know what? When it really comes down to it, and I think we all look at it, I'm sure whoever is the person who's in charge of anything will not just jump and do things. They will always think about it, and they will always have people who will help them think about it before they jump into anything where we'll have like dire consequences. And I think that's the other good thing about America. We don't have one person saying, well, listen, we're going to do it this way and that's it. It doesn't work that way. And we love it. As Americans, I mean, we have a little of everything, but we have the best of everything. There is nothing that we don't enjoy. So there are people out there who make it that way. And the people who make it that way are the people in the military. I mean, because they're the ones on the front line who make sure that we continue to live the way we've lived for so many years. They're the ones who give it all up and ask no questions. That's why we can sit back and say we enjoy what we have. We enjoy the freedoms that we have. And if anything is not the way any American likes, they can always go back and say, well, this law protects me from this, that law protects me from that. There is no one that can say, well, my total liberties have been violated. I mean, there are things that go wrong. Now, let's not say it doesn't, but that's only in certain amount of cases. It's not on a massive scale where there's one person running a whole country and say, well, this is the way we're going to do things. And then another group says this is the way we're going to do things, and everybody has to follow. They have no other choice. They can't say, hey, listen, drop dead, you know, I'm not thinking about you. I'm going my way. Here, we can do that. We don't have that problem, you know. And, you know, I hate to sound so whatever, but these are the things that we strive for and we're always looking to get. I don't care how you look at it. It's what we enjoy. And as Americans, we always try to get these things. We always want to be able to say, it's ours, it's mine. That's a part of living here. That's a part of being here. And you know, and I've looked at how far we've come, and you know, it makes me feel good to know that you live here in America and that anybody could be president, anybody could be just about anything they want to be, and you could come from the most humblest beginnings and go to the very top. You can rise and be whatever you want to be. Do whatever you want to do. Okay? So it's amazing. Well, anyway, like I said, for those of you who are interested, please call at area code 727-493-2055. Right now, I'm going to take a little break, and I'll get right back to you. Anyway. Huh? Okay, sure.
window in that room. Okay, so it is.
You want me to test it? See?
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes that way. So you're on 2 and 3. So it's 1, 2, 3.
You want me to hit it
Yeah,
and make sure?
if you want to put the headset on.
Okay. Okay. I can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now. All right. Can you hear me okay? All right then. Okay. All right, I may as well go back at it. Yes, I guess I'm back. Okay. I'm back on? Okay. Well, okay, here we are. We're back. And listen, there's some information that I'm going to be giving out. Unfortunately, we don't have it for you today. There are some things that ended up happening, and I ran off and left it. So next week, I got some very good information, and I went to one website that you'll really love. I ran off and left everything and realized it when I was halfway here. But we'll take care of that next week, and then my co-host should be back, and that just depends on how things are going with her and our operation. So I'm going to wish Sergeant WP the best of luck on her operation tomorrow, and hopefully everything goes well. For those of you, again, who are out there, you need to make sure that you do go by the VA or get in touch with whatever service organization that's close to you to get your cases going. And if you haven't done anything, this is a good time. I know I'm always hopping on that, but that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this going, is to make sure that veterans who have done any type of honorable service, that you get yourself taken care of. And if you've had any problems, make sure you take care of that. Get everything that's coming to you, not because we're saying, you should go out there and beat down the door, but it's available. And people are always looking for people to come and take advantage, and a lot of people just don't do it. So that's why I'm always hopping on it. And my main thing to a lot of people is you got to take care of yourselves, because if you don't, no one else is going to do it for you, because they don't know what your problems are. You know what your problems are. You need to take care of it. And for the ones who like to procrastinate, all you're doing is causing yourself more grief, and you need to stop that and take care of business, because there are people out there that's willing to help you, and there's a system that's going to do a lot of things for you. Remember, the VA is always available, and they have people that are on the phone 24 hours. So if you really run into an emergency, there are numbers and the people that you can contact. And if you don't know all about them, look them up in the yellow pages, and take care of yourselves. Again, you are your best provider. Other people will help you with the things that you need, but if you don't do it, no one else is going to be able to take care of that. My main thing today was I had this website that's really great, and I can't believe I ran off and left that at home, but this, when you see the website, you'll get some very valuable information. And, you know, as I talk to veterans, they give me things that I can pass on. And that's one of the things that I want to do is pass on. So if you guys are out there and you know information that might help another fellow vet, please get in touch with me. Again, call us at 727-493 2055, and make sure that we can tell you exactly what to do, and so we can pass that on to everybody else. Again, 727-493 2055, and that's the number here at the station, and we'll pass on any information to the people that we need to get it to, and then we'll get it back and get it to you. So it's always a good way to kind of like help one another, because that's how I guess you could say networking does, in the sense that people help people helping people, and veterans and military individuals helping one another, because we're all in the same family. It doesn't change. You may get out and you retire, but you're still connected. The cord goes a very long way, and actually you never really break it, because it's been a part of you, and it will always stay a part of you. Once you've put on your uniform and you've served, you'll always be a part of that military community. And believe me, the community takes care of itself. And if you're not getting what you need, all you got to do sometime is reach out, and you'll be surprised to what services are available for you. I'm really going to talk to you also about the other thing that is on my mind, and that is the educational benefits for a lot of people who, you know, if you guys are going to school, or you're thinking about anything that's going to better you as far as technical schools, trade schools, or anything, and you were in the military, then, hey, remember that GI Bill still takes care of a lot of classes. It takes care of a lot of courses. You guys are not using that either. That's something that's available to you, and if you're wondering about it, please look into it, because we just let so many things pass, and a lot of things are, whether you know it or not, on a time limit. Because some things that you'll do, depending on what group that you fall into, it will expire, and you need to have those things taken care of. If you don't, then you'll run out of one particular benefit, and maybe you may be picked up under another one, but it may not be what you really want it to be as far as the one that ran out. So a lot of us, especially guys who were Vietnam era and after that, you're running out of a lot of benefits, and you know the time for that particular benefit packet is going to expire very shortly for some of us. So guys, remember, short time limit, and you'll go from one type of situation to another. You need to keep these things in mind whenever you're dealing with the military, that it's not unlimited. Some things are unlimited, but when it comes to education, make sure you check into these, because though we do things, these things will one day look up, bite you in the butt, and you'll say, I should have. Well, the should have time may have expired, and you don't want that to happen. It's just like if you don't go and find out what's available to you, then that should have been your should have time. You should have tried to find out what's out there. What can you do with the things that you have? I've really want to get my show to where you guys are getting all the information and you're getting everything you want. I have a little trouble sometimes because I'm trying to always figure out what to do, what is the best thing to have. And it would help if I got some suggestions, if you people would also let me know what you'd like to see and what would you like us to talk about. And if we could bring on the people that would probably be of interest and that might be able to give you the things that you've been trying to get a hold of for some time. I got the new co-host, and then we're still waiting for my other co-host. So we're going to make the show as interesting as possible because there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of things that I'd like to talk about, and I'm sure we'd like to get to you. So in the event that you get a chance, like I said, again, please call us at 727-493-2055. And that's our call-in, and I'd love to hear from you. It's been a thing where we love to at least talk to people and get some of your ideas. I mean, I talk to veterans at the hospital and wherever else I'm running around at. And so when I come, I'd like to be able to put the information here on the show to let all of you know what's going on. That's the main thing that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and that was the purpose of trying to get Military Chat Radio going, is to put information out to the people who really need it. So if you've got some, trust me, I could use it. And listen, I'm not going to tell you, everybody needs help when they're trying to get things together. And I'm trying to get this together so I could use the ideas and the suggestions. I could use you calling in and let me know what you think about certain topics, because I'm going to be discussing a lot of different topics. This is all basically somewhat new to me, but I'd like to become very familiar with it. And the more I read about the military as far as benefits, and the more I find out about certain things, I'm finding out it's very interesting. And there's a whole lot out there to get into. There's a lot to learn about helping individuals with their problems. It's just you just can't believe the amount of information that you really have to dig up to talk on certain subjects. And for those people who are there every day to help you guys when you do go to the VA, trust me, they're like walking information centers, because you have to know a whole lot. It was like being a policeman. You had to almost know all the laws to be a really good policeman. And here with the public service, as far as the VA is concerned, or any of the organizations, to be service counselors, you really have to be someone that's very knowledgeable. Okay, to sit down and talk to someone and write up their complaints or write up the things that are wrong with them, you have to be a very knowledgeable individual. And these are the service representatives, and they do excellent jobs. I mean, sometimes I know, you'll probably get impatient and you'll say, it's taking too long. But when you look at the volume of people that's in the system and waiting for help, it's quite a bit also. So, but it's good. It's good to keep the veterans going to the VA and going to get help, because, listen, it's something that's available to you, something that you've earned, and something that you need to take care of. You need to still take care of yourself. And look at what your government is doing for you. It's providing you the means to take care of business. So, don't hesitate. Just get out there and do what you're supposed to do and take care of yourselves. You'll find that there's always someone willing to help you. Now, of course, they're not standing in the door saying, come on in. You have to make that first step. And I'm always saying you have to make that first step. You have to get up and take care of you. And it's true. You really do. You know, I mean, if I beat you over the head with it, then some of you who have not made any moves need to make that moves. And for you guys who are getting out of the military, think about it. If you've had problems and it's all been documented, then you need to go see the VA. And I'm sure if you're talking to anyone and they are anyone who really cares about you, or just to give you the right proper guidelines as to what to do when you do get out, that's part of their speech. That should be a part of the spiel that they give you to let you know that, hey, we got this for you and it's available, and that you need to take care of it. Again, I don't care how you look at it. You are your own best advisor when it comes to you and your health, or you and anything that deals with the military. You have to look out for yourself. Now, there are people who will look out for you, but of course, like I said, you've got to do it all for yourself. You don't do it, it's not going to happen. You know, no one's just going to walk up to you and say, you better take care of business or else. And I think sometimes when you look out there and you realize that there are so many homeless veterans, and that's kind of really shocking, homeless vets, when there's help available to them. So that shows you that we're not all going out there the minute we finish our service with the military and taking care of business. There are people who don't know what to do, and they become homeless. And they were veterans, and then there's services available to them. So you say, how does that happen? Well, it happens because the individual did not try to seek any help, or some place that fell through the system, and somebody needs to go back and at least try to help them out. And that's where you get all your different service organizations that come into play. VFW, AMVETS, DAV, you name it, they're out there. You know what I'm saying? The American Legion, these are all organizations that are available to veterans. You know, you guys need to go out there and seek their assistance, because they're all out there to help you. And there are others, okay? And you'll be surprised to the help that you can get. And, you know, it's just something that's needed. And we just really need to take care of that. So anyway, again, it's there. You need to look into it. You need to take care of it. What I like to discuss is, you know, how many of you guys have gotten out of the military, and, you know, you may have been at one time, and when I say you guys, I'm not just talking about males, and I'm using you guys very loosely, but let's put it that individuals have gotten out of service member, out of the service, and they've become so many different things in so many different walks of life. A lot of my friends, and I think I'd like to do a show in regards to this, who have gotten out, and they've always taken kind of a different path than what I know them as. And a lot of them have taken that spiritual path. And some have taken different paths. Some have gotten into things. One will become a preacher, and then someone else will do something else that may be in a kind of semi professional way or unprofessional way. When I say unprofessional, it's in the realm of one person may become a Wall Street banker, and I don't know if I would call it unprofessional. That's really not the word I want to use. But let's say one guy becomes a Wall Street banker, and then you turn around and then you've got someone else who becomes anything but that. Okay? They go back to, some of us went into the military, and we come from all different walks of life. You know, some go back to being gang members. Some go back to being people who hate other people. They just go back to things that they've used to be. The military will make you one way, and you'll find out that, hey, I enjoyed being in the military. I was once this, now I'm that. And then some people want to go as far as they can in life, and some people like the life that they had before they got in, and they revert right back to it. They're happy, but it's the life that they went back to. And I'm just saying, some people take the professional road, and some people just kind of go back and say, you know what, I was happy being an average Joe, and that's what I want to go back to, being an average Joe. I don't want to make anything any different than it was before I went in, except for now I've got a skill, maybe I'll use it and it'll do something for me, or I'm just happy being the person that I am. And I think what I'd like to really do is eventually bring all my friends who have gone from being all kinds of soldiers, all kinds of members of different branches of service who have gone into the ministry, because I find it very fascinating that a guy we might have known, or a young lady that we might have known as being one way, then you turn around one day and they're totally different. They've had life changing experiences. They've seen things. They look at life a lot differently than they did when they were a lot younger. And these are the things that I'm kind of looking at as to how people change. How has the military changed them? And I'm going to bring in some of the people that have had changes, that have made them go from what a lot of people knew them as to something totally different, something that nobody thought that these people would ever go into or ever become. And definitely the ministry has been one of the things that a lot of people just don't go into, as far as becoming ministers and pastors and, you know, rabbis or what have you. So, you know, it'd be nice to, on occasion, bring them in, see how they've changed and what were their beginnings. I'd like to just bring in a lot of different people on a lot of basis to see how the military has changed them and what it's done for them, because you have people out there who are writers, you name it, they're in the military. A lot of people who've retired or who've left have become politicians. They've become presidents of major corporations. They have become just about everything. And all I can say is, you know, we're really thankful that they've got their training, or at least they've got something that helped change their lives to make them the people that they are. And that's going to be in some of our upcoming shows. So I just want you to stick around and see what you think and how you like it. Well, anyway, I'd like to say thank you very much for another week with you. And this is the Al Young Show. And again, the number here is 727-493-2055. And talk to you next week.